Guys, welcome to another top favorite list, and I'm going to be doing a list of my top 20 favorite superhero movies, my top 20 best superhero movies in my opinion. So, yeah, I've been doing these lists for years, and opinions change a lot with this, and opinions have changed a lot, and I've been doing this for years before I even started YouTube, and my opinion kind of changed a bit. It always changes a bit. And so, yeah, I'm just giving you a list of my updated list of my top 20 best superhero movies. So, yeah, let's get started. Let's get some honorable mentions. Some honorable mentions are Wonder Woman, Batman, Spider-Man, Captain America, the First Avenger, Spider-Man Homecoming, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Spider-Man Far From Home, Batman Returns, and The Avengers. Yes, The Avengers used to be in my top five, actually, my top 5 favorite superhero movies, and it's not even making my top 20 favorite superhero movies. Yeah, this movie used to be one of my favorite movies of all time, actually, and it still is. I love The Avengers. It holds up very well, but I don't love it the way I used to. I've seen it so many times now, I just don't feel like I really need to see it anymore. I've seen The Avengers like over 100 times now. I'm kind of done with The Avengers. I even watched it this summer with some friends because we're having a Marvel movie marathon. And so I'm kind of just done with The Avengers. But that still doesn't change the fact it's a great movie. I love The Avengers. Great comedy. Joss Whedon did such a great job with this movie. I love The Avengers. The effects are amazing. I love Loki. He's one of the best Marvel villains. But I've seen it so many times now. I know what's going to happen every time I've seen it. Now, every time I've seen it, it's kind of old. But I still love The Avengers. I still love The Avengers, but I don't love it the way I used to. So yeah, if anyone ever says, "You want to watch The Avengers?" I'm like, no, actually, no. I've seen it so many times. I'm kind of done, but not really. But still love The Avengers, but I can take a break from it for a while. I don't need to see that movie anymore. Anyway, let's get started. At number 20 is Big Hero 6. Yeah, I saw this movie when it came out. I really loved it. I love Baymax. I love Hero and all the team members of Big Hero 6. And yeah, it was the first Disney animated movie to have Marvel characters in it. And yeah, I really loved it. I hope they do. I hope in the future they do more stuff like this, because I know this movie's this movie's over 8 years old. This movie's 8 years old. Actually, it's over 8 years old now. Yeah, this movie, I love Big Hero 6. It's great. And, yeah, they've actually been talking about, because this is the first Disney movie to have Marvel comic characters in it. And I hope they do. I hope they would actually make more stuff like this. Like, I've actually seen posts and stuff that they would make Marvel characters, but Marvel characters in a Pixar movie. That would be awesome. Like, if you saw a Spider-Man movie if you saw a Pixar movie that had Spider-Man in it, that would be great. Just like this was, because this was the first Disney movie to have Marvel characters in it. And so, yeah. And this was the first Disney animated movie to have Marvel characters in it. And so, yeah, I love Big Hero 6. It's great. I love the characters. And I love San Fran Tokyo. They use San Francisco, but they called it San Fran Tokyo. And yeah, it's a great movie. I've seen it a lot now. Big Hero 6 is great. And yeah. Great Disney movie, great Marvel characters in a Disney animated movie. And I would hope they do more stuff like this. Like have Spider-Man in a Pixar movie. That'd be great. It would be just as great as what they did with this. And so, yeah. I love Big Hero 6. It's great. And yeah, it's a great movie. Great animation. It has great animation. and great story. At number 19 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians. This is also a great movie. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the comedy, and I love the characters. They're great. Chris Pratt is awesome as Star-Lord, and I love Bradley Cooper. He did such a good job voicing. Rocket Raccoon. And yeah, I think Rocket probably has to be our favorite character, either him or Star-Lord. It's hard to say. I loved his voice. Bradley Cooper did such a good job voicing Rocket. He's great. And Guardians of the Galaxy is a great movie. It has great comedy. It has great soundtrack. It has great action scenes. And it's very, very funny. And I love Rocket. I love Groot. I love Star-Lord. I love Gamora and Drax. They're all great. They're all great characters, and it's a very, very funny movie. And it's a good movie to start with if you haven't seen any superhero movies. And yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is very, very funny. It's hilarious. At number 18 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It's actually funny because at number 20 I had a 2014 movie, and then at 19 I had a 2014 movie, and then at 18 I had a 2014 movie. Yeah, 3 2014 movies in a row with each other, because I'm sure one of you were actually thinking that too. And Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That's a great movie as well. It had so many great action scenes. The action scenes were awesome. The effects were great. And, oh my god, the effects were incredible. And, like, the boat scene was awesome. And the highway fight. And I love Bucky in the movie. He shines when you find out that it was jaw-dropping, and when you found out that the Winter Soldier's been Bucky all along. And, yeah, it was also unexpectedly very dark, too. And, it's great. Captain America: The Winter Soldier is awesome. It's very good action scenes, incredible effects, and great acting, and yeah, it's a solid. It's a solid movie. I always have fun with it. At number 17 is Superman. This is a great movie as well. Christopher Reeve was awesome as Superman. This movie started off the whole superhero movies. Without this movie, there wouldn't be so many great superhero movies. This movie inspired so many great superhero movies, and this is a great movie. It has great score and great characters, and it's a great movie. So the musical score is awesome. It sounds a bit like Star Wars a bit, and John Williams did a great job with the musical score, and it's a classic. It's a classic. I love Superman. Classic. At number 16 is Thor Ragnarok. This movie's actually very, very funny. This has to be the funniest Marvel movie. I love Thor Ragnarok. The opening scene was awesome. The opening scene was so awesome with when he's all chained up and then he starts then you hear the Immigrant Song from Led Zeppelin. That song matches so perfectly. Then later you hear it again. There's so many funny scenes, great action scenes, very, very good comedy. And this is the kind of comedy that worked in this movie. See, I wasn't a fan of the comedy in Thor: Love and Thunder, but this is the comedy that works. It's so awesome. But you see in Thor Ragnarok, they kind of made Thor Love and Thunder, they made the comedy a little too over the top, more too goofy. But in this movie, the comedy works, and it's so awesome. The movie is very, very funny. I always have a lot of fun with Thor Ragnarok. It's awesome. I love Thor Ragnarok. It's great. At number 15 is Black Panther. Yeah, this movie was awesome. I loved it. Chadwick Boseman was so great in this movie. Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, he was amazing too. I loved this movie had a terrific villain and so many great action scenes. And see, I never really knew anything about Black Panther until I saw this movie, and I really loved it. I loved it. It had so many great characters. And really, it's awesome. It was amazing, and it was so sad about what happened to Chadwick Boseman, and yeah. But this, I remember watching this movie right after he died, and after celebrating his life, I watched this movie, and I've seen it so many times now. It's Black Panther. It's a great movie. I love Black Panther. So many great action scenes and great score, and yeah, Black Panther was awesome. At number 14 is The Incredibles. Both the first two, the first and the second Incredibles. Yeah, both movies are great, and yeah, both movies are great. I love the first one. It was completely original. Yeah, I know. I didn't title this video as comic book movies. I titled it as superhero movies, so I can put this movie in the list because it's not a comic book movie. Because I really like it. It's completely original, and yeah, this is a great movie. It's very, very funny. Really great both of them are pretty funny, and really good animation. And yeah, and the first one was great because the first one had a really great villain, and yeah, they're both great. They're great, and finally there was Incredibles 2 we've all been asking for years, and there's finally an Incredibles 2. Big age gap. There's tons of big age gap sequels out there. I mean, look at the new Avatar movie that just came out. That was a big age gap from the first one, and yeah, there's been plenty of age gap sequels like Nemo, like Finding Nemo, then Finding Dory. And then these movies, and there's finally been an Incredible sequel, and yeah, it's awesome. Both of them are great, and I hope there's going to be an Incredible 3. I really hope so, because the first one was great, the second one was great. I love The Incredibles. They're both great movies. I love them. Yeah, they're The Incredibles. Great score, great animation, love the voices, and yeah, they're great. At number 13 is Batman Begins. Yeah, this movie. Christian Bale's so great in this movie, and so is Michael Caine, Liam Neeson, Gary Oldman. They're all great in this movie. And Morgan Freeman's also great. And this movie started off the whole Dark Knight trilogy, and I love how they got Batman's story all dark and brooding. It was 100% taken seriously, though the Michael Keaton ones were taken seriously as well. But this one was the first Batman movie to be all seriously, like 100% right. And so, yeah, I love Batman Begins. Christian Bale's so great in this movie. And I love the Scarecrow. I love Ra's al Ghul. They're great. And yeah, they're awesome. It's awesome. It's great. It's though I mean it's not quite as good as The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. But I still love Batman Begins. It's great. It's awesome. I love like I love the car chase scene. I love the Batmobile chase scene and the train fight. They're awesome. And that scene where they're training in the mountains. Yeah, it was awesome. It was the first one in the Dark Knight trilogy, and yeah, it was great. I love how they finally showed Batman's whole origin story in a Batman story. Though in a Batman movie, they did show a little bit of his origin story in Batman 1989, but they showed all of it in this movie, and it's really, really great. And it's really great. I love Batman Begins. At number 12 is Justice League: The Snyder Cut. Yeah, this is the best movie. This is definitely the best movie in the DCEU. I actually really loved this movie. Actually, much better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't really have any desire to see this movie, but after I heard all the reviews because this movie had so many great reviews when it came out, and I was like, wow, then I'm definitely watching this movie. And I watched it. It was awesome, really awesome, actually. So much better than I thought it was going to be. And yeah, it's so awesome. Though the only complaint I have with it is that it's too long and there's a little bit too much more slow motion than there needs to be. But that doesn't change the fact that it's a really great movie. The effects were awesome, and it had so many. I loved Cyborg shines in this movie because I thought Cyborg was kind of boring. Cyborg was boring in the 2017 Justice League. But in this movie, I actually loved Cyborg in this movie. They showed his whole backstory, and I cared a lot about Cyborg in this movie. And you saw his backstory, and I really loved Cyborg in this movie. He was great. He shines. And all the other characters are great, too. Of course, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. She shines in this movie. And I also loved The Flash in this movie, too. Because I thought The Flash, I wasn't a fan of The Flash in the other movie because he just cracked so many jokes. He just wasn't really interesting. He was kind of annoying. But in this movie, I also loved The Flash in this movie as well. This is definitely one of the best DC movies because I didn't like the 2017 Justice League. I did when it came out, but after watching this movie, I like it even less. I think it's even worse now because of this movie. And it's just because of all the cheesy jokes and stuff. I wasn't a fan of that movie. But this movie was really, really awesome. I loved it. And yeah, it was awesome. And yeah, it was great. This movie had great visuals, great direction, everything. I really loved it. And I also have to mention the musical score. This movie has the best musical score in a superhero movie. I definitely got to say that. Best musical score in a superhero movie. It's so epic and everything. And the final battle sequence is great. There's so many great action scenes. I loved it. It's great. So, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Great DC movie. So much better than the 2017 version. At number 11 is Captain America Civil War. Yeah, I love the plot to this movie. It's great. You find I really like I love the characters. Of course, they all shine as they did in the other movies. And yeah, this movie's great. Great acting. And that airport fight scene was so awesome. And you first see Spider-Man in this movie. I like how they introduce him. And yeah, this movie's awesome. I love it. One of the best Marvel movies. And yeah, it's great. It's Captain America Civil War. It's awesome. And then at number 10 is Iron Man, the first Iron Man. Yeah, this one started off the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it was great. Robert Downey Jr. was so awesome in this movie, and it started off the whole superhero genre. I mean, not superhero genre. Sorry, that was Superman. This is Iron Man. It started off the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, it's great. I love Iron Man. The acting in this movie is great. I love it. Great villain, and I really like how they introduced all Iron Man and all the other characters. It's great. They introduced the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's really awesome. And it has really great action scenes. And yeah, I've seen it a lot now. It's a really, really great movie. Love Iron Man. And at number 9 is The Batman. Yeah, The Batman is a fantastic film. I saw this movie at the beginning of the year when it came out in March, and yeah, it was great. this has to be one of the best movies of 2022 of the year. This movie has to be one of this movie is one of the best movies of the year. I really loved it. Robert Pattinson was so awesome as Batman. He was so amazing. I wasn't really fond of his Bruce Wayne, but I loved his Batman. Paul Dano as the Riddler, he was also amazing, and Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman. She was great. I loved her. Colin Farrell was awesome as Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin. He was great, and this movie had so many great action scenes. This movie had really great action scenes, and the acting was great, and I love Batman's suit, and it had a great musical score. I really liked the car chase scene with Batman and the Penguin. It was so awesome. And I love the theme where he's in that cell with the Riddler, and where he shouts, "What have you done?" And it was awesome in the final battle. It was great. I loved it, and I can't wait for the sequel. And the Batman. It was awesome. At number 8 is SpiderMan II. This movie was awesome. I love Spider-Man 2, and it was great. It was a really great movie, and I really like the villain, Dr. Octopus, and the acting is great. I love that line from Aunt May, that monologue from Aunt May, and it's really great. And and I love the villain is great. And Tobey Maguire shines again in this movie. He's really great, and the acting is great in this movie. The effects were awesome for 2004. This movie was a few years ahead of its time. Like, the effects were so awesome. That train fight scene, oh my god, that is one of the best action scenes in movies. Oh my god, the acting's great, and the action is killer. It's so awesome. It's killer. It's really great. And I love how this one the first one was more like a campy superhero movie, but this one is more like a drama a bit, and that's why I really love it. It's great. And it's my 3rd favorite Spider-Man movie. And my 8th favorite superhero movie. It's great. Love it. The story is great. And the action is great. And the acting's great too. And yeah, great movie. Great Spider-Man movie. Tobey Maguire's great in this movie. And J.K. Simmons, he in this as J. Jonah Jameson, he gives the best performance in this movie than he did in the other movies. Though he was great in the first one, he was great in the third one. But in this movie, he stole this whole movie. J.K. Simmons was awesome in this movie as JJ. He was great in the first one. He was great in this one. He was great in the third one. And yeah, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. He's great. At number 7 is Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. This is the best animated superhero movie. I loved this movie. It was awesome. Really good comedy. Love Shane McMoore as Miles Morales. And it's great. I love the voices in this movie. I love Gwen Stacy in this movie. And they're all great. This movie has great score and great action, great animation, and yeah, it was awesome. Loved it. Another really awesome Spider-Man movie. The best Sony animation movie. And yeah, it's awesome. I loved it. At number 6 is X-Men Days of Future Past. Yeah, this movie is also great. I really the action scenes in this movie are great, and Hugh Jackman, of course he's also really great as Wolverine. I really like when they take him back to 1973, and this movie's awesome. I love that scene with Quicksilver in the kitchen. That scene was great, and I love that scene. The stadium scene is my favorite part. Loved it, and I really loved this movie. It was awesome, and definitely the best X-Men movie, but not my favorite X-Men movie in the X-Men universe. I'm getting to that in a minute, but definitely the best movie with the X-Men in it. So yeah. At number 5 is Logan. Yeah, this is my favorite movie in the X-Men universe, but my favorite movie with the X-Men in it is Days of Future Past. This movie, though, is the best X-Men movie in the X-Men universe, and love Hugh Jackman in this movie. His performance was great, and I love and Patrick Stewart is awesome in this movie as well, and I love the action scenes with the girl. She was awesome as well. And the action in this movie is killer, and it's very, very hard to watch. This movie is one of, if not the most violent movies I've ever seen. It is disturbing. It was way more violent than I thought it was going to be. And the action is killer. And it's awesome. I love the villain. I love the villain where Wolverine's fighting him, and he looks like he's fighting himself, and it was awesome. Loved Logan. The best movie in the X-Men universe, and great movie. At number 4 is The Dark Knight Rises. Yep, this movie's awesome. Really, really awesome. I loved Bane. He was awesome. And I love Tom Hardy's performance as Bane. He was great. And I really loved Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. She was awesome. And, of course, Kristen Bale shined in this movie. And I love the conclusion to this movie. It was awesome. I really loved this movie. And, great Batman movie. Love the conclusion. It was awesome. And I also love how they upgrade the score in this movie. Even sounds better than it did in the first 2 movies. It sounds like upgraded, it sounds remastered, and it's awesome. And yeah, it's great. And I remember when I first saw this movie for the first time, I loved it. But I remember I was a bit disappointed that there was not a lot of Batman in this movie when I saw it for the first time. But the more I rewatch it, I kind of, it makes sense why Batman was not in this movie as much. I remember being a little disappointed because I was expecting Batman to be in this movie. He wasn't in this movie as much as I thought he was going to be in this movie. And it's great. Love Bane, and I love the action scenes, and the final battle scene was great. And love The Dark Knight Rises. Great movie. At number 3 is Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame. Yeah, both of these movies were masterpieces. Loved them. And both of these movies were great. I loved Infinity War. I love Thanos in the movie. Definitely the best Marvel villain. Definitely the best Marvel Cinematic Universe villain. One of the best movie villains of all time, period. Loved it. Loved all the characters. And love Endgame too. Endgame was great, and both of these movies were great. Full of nostalgia. Both of these movies were great. Loved them. But I liked Endgame just a tad bit more, but they were both masterpieces. Loved them. They were great. And Infinity War and Endgame, really great 2-parters. Both masterpieces. At number 2 is Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, number 2 is Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, this movie was awesome. This movie was great. I couldn't believe that, you could finally get all of the Spider-Man, all 3 of the Spider-Men in one movie that was legit, and all of the old villains. This Spider-Man movie was everything I ever wanted in a Spider-Man movie. I've always wanted to see something like this, and it was so awesome. Full of nostalgia. Love Andrew Garfield's awesome in this movie. So is Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland. All three of them are great. They're awesome. Loved it. And this was one of the best movies I ever saw. It was really awesome. So, yeah, really, really great movie and very well made movie. And yeah, really great movie. This movie also had really great action scenes as well. Like the final battle was epic, full of nostalgia, and like the action scenes at the end of the movie and the middle of the movie were middle of the movie and towards the end of the movie. The action scenes in the movie was killer. It was really awesome, and yeah, that's why I love this movie. It's great. And my number one favorite superhero movie, of course, is The Dark Knight. No surprise. You all knew it was number one. It's one of the best movies of all time. And it is the best superhero movie. And that's a fact. It's awesome. It's great. It's the action in this movie is great, and so is the acting. Really great cinematography. The Joker is awesome. He's one of my favorite movie characters. And Christian Bale's also so great in this movie. As Bruce Wayne, he's great as Batman. Love this movie. It's so awesome. Love Heath Ledger as the Joker. That has to be the best acting performance in a movie. That has to be the number one best acting performance of all time. It's done so well. I love Heath Ledger in this movie. He's so great, and he gave the best performance in this whole movie, and one of the best acting performances of all time. Period. And everyone else is great in this movie. Christian Bale, Morgan Freeman, Gary Oldman, Michael Caine, Aaron Eckhart, Maggie Gyllenhaal. They're great. Love Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face, and then I love Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon, and Michael Caine as Alfred, and Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox. They're great. Everyone's great in this movie. I like Maggie Gyllenhaal's a better Rachel Dawes than Katie Holmes, and yeah, they're great. Everyone's great in this movie. This is literally this is not only the best superhero movie, it's one of the best movies of all time. Period. It's such a masterpiece. I love this movie. It's so well made. And yeah, it's a masterpiece. I love The Dark Knight. It's really, really awesome. And it's great. The musical score, the cinematography, the direction, and the action. Like the bank scene was awesome. And the plot, everything about this movie is so great. And yeah, it's awesome. Not one complaint I have. Not one issue. Okay, maybe one. Maybe that the fact that the Joker outshines Batman, but that's not even really a big issue I have with it. But that's really it though. I love this movie. It's awesome. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's really, really great. And so, yeah. Masterpiece. Love it. If you haven't seen The Dark Knight, bruh. This movie also has really great monologues. Really great scripts, like that line from Michael Caine that Alfred said, that some men just want to watch the world burn. That speech he gave, that line is also the line from that Gary Oldman says, that Commissioner Gordon says at the end of the movie. This scene right here.
Because he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now. So we'll hunt him. Because he can take it. Because he's not a hero. He's a silent guardian. A watchful protector. A dark knight.
that line gives me the chills all the time. That ending speech, that's the best ending speech in a movie I've ever seen. That movie had one of the best endings to movies, period. This movie literally has one of the best scripts, like the why so serious. And yeah, this is like the perfect movie. This is one of the most perfect movies I've ever seen. This is the most perfect superhero movie. And it's a great movie for people who don't like superhero movies. And so, yeah, solid masterpiece. It's great. Love The Dark Knight. I like how you also don't have to watch Batman Begins to watch this movie. This movie works perfectly well as its own movie. Unless if you're going to watch The Dark Knight Rises, then yes, you'd have to watch Batman Begins. But if you're only going to watch one of them in the trilogy, this is the one to watch. Because this movie is so epic. It's awesome. I love it. It's great. It's The Dark Knight. Very awesome movie. Great acting. So, yeah. So, yeah, that was my list of my top 20 favorite superhero movies. So, yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this list? If not, what's your favorite superhero movie? Let me know down in the comment section below. Comment below. Let me know. And if you like this, please subscribe to my channel and hit that like. Alright. Bye.